When it comes to exemptions, there are several exemptions available for the property transfer tax, but it is best to double check with your legal representative, your lawyer or notary, as to make sure that you qualify for the exemption. Sometimes one might assume an exemption applies, but it doesn't technically meet all of the requirements. For example, there is an exemption to transfer a home from a parent to a child. But to qualify for that exemption, it has to be less than 1.24 acres, as well as it has to be the residence of at least the parent or the child in the 6 months prior to the transfer. So these are little items that you can double check with your legal representative to make sure that you qualify for the exemption. Another pitfall people sometimes run into with assessing whether they qualify for an exemption is with respect to the first-time homebuyers exemption. They have to be sure that they actually never owned an interest in any residence anywhere in the world previously. If you have owned a residence that you've lived in at any point in time, any place in the world, you no longer qualify for the first-time homebuyers exemption. In terms of other exemptions, there is the spousal exemption. This allows one spouse to transfer an interest in their residence to the other spouse. Again, there are some items to qualify to confirm that you have the ability to qualify for this exemption. One of them is to be a spouse, you have to either be married or in a marriage-like relationship for at least 2 years. If you are married, you have your marriage certificate to show that you're married. But if you're a common law spouse, you need to be able to show that you've been living together for at least 2 years in a marriage-like relationship. A very common way of proving this is when was it that you updated your driver's license or services card with vital statistics to reflect the address you live at. That is one thing the government will look for when confirming that you have been living together for at least 2 years. So if you're in a common law relationship and you're looking to transfer your interest in property to your spouse, make sure that you can be in a position to prove you've been living together for at least 2 years in a marriage-like relationship. Also, when discussing with your lawyer or notary whether you qualify for an exemption, it is important to be accurate and truthful in your representations. The reason being is if the property transfer tax department discovers that you don't qualify for the exemption, they'll assess penalties against you, even if you've made an innocent mistake. For example, if you believe that you never did own an interest in a residence before and apply for the first-time homebuyers exemption, the property transfer tax department not only will charge you back the property transfer tax you should have paid, but they'll charge you an amount equal to that as a penalty. It is important to double check with your lawyer or notary as to whether you qualify for any exemptions before assuming that you do.